So it's Saturday morning here on the East Coast of the United States, and I woke up to Dragon Ball Heroes Episode 12 being out. And it reminded me of watching Dragon Ball on Saturday mornings. Y'all remember the Toonami Rising Sun? Man, they promoted the hell out of that Garlic Jr. saga, and it wasn't even that good. But anyways, I digress. Let's talk about Super Dragon Ball Heroes. They're here in this Saturday morning where I'm at. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you're at. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, good evening, good night to wherever you're at here. Dragon Ball Heroes Episode 12. When we last left off our heroes, they were struggling against Zamasu's forces, and now they have invaded Universe 7, but there to cut them off is Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, and now joining the fight, 17 and Piccolo from Dragon Ball Super. We had kind of heard that this was going to happen, based on what was going on with the cards coming out, because remember, the gimmick of Dragon Ball Heroes is they have to do something new every episode to sell a new card, right? That's why you have SS4 Gogeta, SS4 Vegito, Vegito Blue Kaioken, Grand Priest Goku. Every time there's a new episode, they have to sell a new thing, a new transformation, a new fusion, whatever that happens to be. And I guess in this case, it's going to be a new Piccolo and a new 17 card. But nonetheless, the twins go and they start fighting with Vegeta, and everybody kind of scrambles around to fight who they can. So it's a big rumble, yet again. At one point in the fight, Vegeta has to leave, and he leaves the twins to 17 and Piccolo, and he tells them, hey, don't get absorbed or whatever. Don't get infected or whatever the case is. And then they're like, I forget the actual words he used, so I apologize for that. And then Piccolo's like, what the hell does he mean by that? So it would have probably helped if he had given them more of a warning, considering how dangerous they are with all those tricks they know. The fighting here is actually pretty decent. It's not too bad for the couple of seconds of animation we got. Piccolo goes for his arm stretch move, and they turn into like the little, I hate to say it, but like the little sperm sludge thing, and then Piccolo's like, oh, they're artificial humans, because they're basically made of like a form of liquid metal like T-1000, but they're still artificial humans, like how he was a cyborg. So now they're just finding out all these tricks now, which is kind of comical. Meanwhile, Goku is getting blasted elsewhere. Hearts is using his little gravity move that nobody seems to have a counter for, or at least not many people seem to have a counter for, and it's working pretty effectively. And while that's going on, we cut to Few, who we haven't seen in quite some time, even though he was in the cliffhanger of the last episode last month. And of course, Few's always coming with the surprises. And his big surprise, and probably the featured card coming out of this episode, well, I'm sure it's the featured card because we already saw promo for it, and that is Golden Cooler's return. He is indeed here. We have a modified Golden Cooler, and it looks like what happened here is Few is sending him to a different universe, Universe 3, to test him out, and he's testing himself out against Cumber. So he's not hopping right into the Universe 7 version of the fight. He's fighting Cumber right now, which is kind of an interesting thing because Cumber is very powerful and Few knows it, and yet he's over here wondering if the massive Saiyan can win. But it's like, yo, you know how strong he is, and of course they're going to power scale Cooler up to make him match up with him, because they always do that in Dragon Ball Heroes. Don't ever try to make sense of it. It's just not supposed to make any sense. Few mentions that Cooler's powers have been enhanced by the Big Getty Star, but it's not made clear if he's referring to just the original Big Getty Star from the Dragon Ball Z 6th movie, where Metal Cooler was, I guess, reborn or whatever the case is, or if he's talking about the Big Getty Star being brought back and it's giving him power now, because it could be just referring to the fact that this version of Cooler is not the same one that we saw earlier in Dragon Ball Heroes the anime, because he's been in contact with the Big Getty Star directly. Doesn't necessarily mean that the Big Getty Star was brought back. But anyways, Cumber is not going down easily, because he never does, of course. But Cooler's doing surprisingly well in a really fun animated scene. I enjoyed this little fight for the brief time that we had it. And I really like how this Metal Cooler now has like the red eyes. So it really has that Terminator vibe. Really like that design. And yeah, it might be a small thing, but it's one that I can appreciate being a lifelong Terminator fan. Even though I'm not really sure about this new movie. Still, it's a good touch. And it's funny because Cumber makes fun of him for turning himself into a machine. And Cooler's like, well, I'm stronger now. I've gained new powers. And he managed to connect some really big hits on Cumber very impressively, including a huge headbutt that appears to hurt Cumber. So this dude who went from tanking Vegito Blue is having trouble with Cooler. That's insane. Then Cooler reveals his trump card, which is, if you've seen the actual card, Golden Meta Cooler. So it's not just Golden Cooler or Golden Frieza, it is Golden Metal Cooler. And I think he looks great with the the red eye, like I said, the black kind of pupil. And it just looks like Golden Frieza, except like a metallic version, which Golden Frieza already looks like that. So yes, we now see Golden Cooler, your newest Dragon Ball Heroes card that we have to push to all the kids. That's essentially what happens here in this episode. So if he's doing so well before, how well will he do now with the Golden Power? And Cumber just lays into him with a barrage of Ki Blasts, but Cooler it does nothing to him. He just eats them all and just zooms through and manages to uppercut Cumber right in the gut. Really like this scene. This is one of my favorite scenes they've had so far in Heroes. The music, the way that Ryusuke Nakamura performed the character, the uppercut was all really, really well done. It felt like something out of the anime, the regular anime, not this one. And whenever we can get a feeling like that, it's a good thing. They don't happen too often in this thing, but they're here, and they do happen once in a while, and that's one that just arrived here in this one. Then we have another fantastic sequence where the camera actually rotates around Cooler and Cumber as they fight. You know, Cooler goes for an uppercut, then a kick to the gut, and like the way it's shot was so dynamic. I'm like, wow, are we really even watching Heroes right now? Because it was just so well shot and so well framed. It's just so, it wasn't lazy or come off lazy like some of the other, Heroes directing. It was them trying something unique, and it's a great little scene. So he creates 3, not 1, not 2, 3 death balls like that. That was freaking cool. And then he fires them at Cumber. Doesn't kill Cumber. He's still there. He eats them. He's fine. But as he's doing the death balls, he seems to short circuit something. Some kind of chip in his head short circuited. So he pretty much has to leave, and the fight is left unresolved, which is again another bummer. I wanted to see an actual conclusion here. Looked like Cooler had him on the ropes, but Cumber did survive and looks to be doing just fine. Until he goes down out of his Super Saiyan transformation into his base. And I'm like, wow. So Metal Cooler, Golden Metal Cooler was the guy that beat Cumber. Not Jiren, not Vegito, not Gogeta. Golden Metal Cooler defeated. I don't think he's dead, but defeated and knocked out Cumber. Think about that for a minute. That's, again, don't try to scale this thing. It's just not going to make any sense. And before somebody says anything, yes, I remember Ultra Instinct as well, but that's Ultra Instinct here. We're talking about just Golden Metal Cooler. Come on now. But it looks like Cooler is overheating, according to what Few says, and that's going to be a handicap that he's going to have to deal with, I guess, using that golden form with his metallic, enhancements or whatever, his cybernetic enhancements. That's fine. I can dig that handicap. It makes sense. Well, it kind of made sense, but nonetheless, Few got what he wanted because he was able to gather up more data during that fight. So the stakes get turned up as the episode comes to a close we see Kami and Orin fuse to make Kami Orin, which we've seen before, and Piccolo, of course, reacts, and then we have Hearts taking off his coat and powering up, claiming that he's going to be using the Universe C and that's almost finished, and he's going to be the one to do it. So Hearts appears to be the villain of this arc. Like Cumber was the villain of the last arc. Hearts appears to be the villain of this one. I just really hope that they don't drag it on too long. It's already been dragged on enough. And, actually beat this guy at some point and not have it just transition to a different villain. Because even though Merge Zamasu might be the leader of, this dog and pony show or whatever, I think Hearts is going to be the actual villain and might even turn on him at some point. It just seems like he has that kind of feel to him, like he's just here for, a temporary time. But what's it going to take to beat him? Who will be able to get the job done? That is the big cliffhanger leaving episode 12 of Super Dragon Ball Heroes. Goku, of course, stares him down, determined to stop him at any cost. And we have our preview for the next episode, episode 13. It's called Super Hearts Joins the Fight, an all-out earth-shaking battle. I don't have to tell you what the next Heroes card they're going to promote is for the Japanese arcade game. It's going to be Super Hearts. I mean, it's already pretty much told to you right then and there. That's how this show works, guys. They're going to promote a new card every month, and you take it or leave it. This is only about 7 minutes or so, or 8 minutes. It's not really that long. You can watch it if you want to. I'm not going to sit here and say you need to watch it. It's short enough that it shouldn't affect your day, but I was mildly entertained. It was okay. For Dragon Ball Hero standards, it was one of the better episodes, not one of the worst ones, but you get what you get with Dragon Ball Hero. So that's my review of episode 12. Thanks for watching. I love you guys so very much. Leave a comment, tell me what you think, and I'll see you very soon. Also, tomorrow here on Geekdom 101, Super Saiyan 2 Transformation Guide. I've been working so hard on that video. I cannot wait for you to see it, because it's a lot. It's put a lot of work into it. I think if you're a fan of that transformation, you'll get a lot out of it. So come back tomorrow, Sunday, here on the channel, and enjoy that. Talk to you next time.